Day 5 or 6. 5 ഞാൻ upload ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല ഇന്നലെ. I didn't get the recording on time. So 5 was yesterday. Today is 6. So today is grammar day 6. Okay, and I think 5 has not yet been uploaded on the website. I'll be doing that today, and today will be day 6 of grammar. And yes, so let's start today's class. Yesterday we had discussed future tense, right? Now there are words like going to or used to. Look at these two words. These two words can change the tense of a sentence. Okay. He will learn English. Instead of writing it as he will learn English, we can also write it as he is going to learn English. This gives us an understanding that this action is going to happen in the future. Learning English is going to happen in the future. So that's why we use the term going to. Okay. So instead of will, what did we use? Going to. He spoke English. Spoke is in past, right? So instead of spoke, what did they use? Used to speak. Used to. That is used to show past sometimes. So just write it like this. Going to, put a dash and write. Sometimes used to show future tense. Going to. Sometimes used to show future tense. Used to. Put a dash and write. Sometimes used to indicate past tense. Done? Okay, now look at this sentence here. I was going to buy a new car, but changed my mind. I was, right? But here going to is used. How did we use it? To show something in the past. That's why we have written it as sometimes. We have written sometimes, right? Sometimes there's going to, used to, they can change. Sometimes going to can also be used for showing something in the past. He was going to reach here by 5 o'clock, right? So that's the usage of going to. Let's quickly do this exercise. Actually your past tense is over, so we just had this one exercise which was left. Past, future tense, everything is over. We just had this one small exercise which is left. So let's just finish that and move on to the next topic. Okay, so finish here. Present tense sentences in the future tense with going to, and in the past tense with used to. Okay, so the sentence is Bill takes a class at the university. Can you make it into future tense by using the word going to? Bill is going to take a class at the university. Now make it into past using used to.
Bills used to take a class at the university.
Yes, correct. Bill used to take a class. Do the second one.
We are going to
We are going to travel to Germany.
Germany.
Next one. I have
We
not. Hamida, Mone, you can
yes,
answer.
yes, sir.
You can answer. പക്ഷേ ഇവിടെ ഓഡിയോ വരുമ്പോൾ കുറച്ച് ഡിലേ ആയി പോകും. Okay, so don't worry.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay.
I have lot of parties. I'm going to have lot of parties. I used to have lot of parties. Used to have a sometime back in the past, right? Used to had a lot. Used to have lot of parties. Okay. The next one is a question, so let's just skip that. Yeah, fifth and sixth are going to, the children used to. Okay. Okay. In the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, you have to use going to in the was in the past tense. They sold the old SUV. They were going to sell sell the old SUV. Okay, they were. Why sold became sell? They were showed the past tense. So sell does not need to show the past tense again. You show the past tense only once, right? Were. They were going to sell the old SUV. Liz began her studies at the university. Liz was going to begin. Understood? Again, we did the same thing, right? Begin her studies at the university. Next one. The twins lived together in San Francisco. Were going to live together in San Francisco. 10th one is a question, so let's skip that. And with that, this chapter is over. That is tenses. Yesterday we covered most of it. We just had these two small little things here. We covered that. So now let's see what's the next topic. The next topic is auxiliary verbs. You guys might know it as helping verbs. Okay. So auxiliary verbs. This is your next topic. Okay, so three auxiliary verbs we have already seen. They are be, do, and have. Okay, be you have used. You know about the be family. Am, is, are, was, were. All these words are part of the be family. So they've shown you some examples here. What is the what are the other two members of have? Have the other two members has had. Okay. Do, did, does, right? So you are familiar with all of them now. Okay, keep them in your mind somewhere. They're all what forms of helping verbs or auxiliary verbs. Okay. Now let's first have a. I think they are going to show you. You will come across certain words like this: able to, supposed to. All these words can be called as auxiliary verbs. Able to is showing your ability to do something, right? Able to. Supposed to is showing that nee cheyinde karyam, something that you had to do. Supposed to. So auxiliary verbs are, chalo, see few more examples. Can. What are the other forms? Can, could, have, right? May, must. If may is there, might will also be there. Then you have ought to, should. All these are what? Want to, need to. Ah. What is one thing common that you can see in all of them? Do you see something common? Want to, ought to, should to, may to, must lilla. Don't look at the words and tell me what it is. Try and understand the meaning of the word. They all have a similar purpose. Chal, let's create a sentence with the word want to. Okay? I want to what? What will you add next to want to? I want to swim. I want to dance. I want to sing. What is swim, dance, and sing? Verb. Right? So want to is doing what? Helping this verb. Without the verb I want to, can you just say I sing? No. Right? You will have to use something like a helping verb there. That is what it is doing. It is helping you. Okay. So I want to sing. There the verb is sing. Want to is doing what job? Is helping that verb sing. Express itself and put it in the correct form. I need to sing. Is it your want? No, no. Now it changed. What is it now? Something that you have to do. You need to, right? So can I say have to? That can also be used as a helping verb, right? I have to sing, right? Can I also say I ought to sing? Ought to, it is a compulsion. It is a level of compulsion that you put. You ought to do this. You say, na, you are supposed to do this. So bigger than supposed to is ought to. Okay, you ought to do this. Okay. Can I say he should sing? Instead of saying he wants to sing, he should sing. Right? So all these verbs, they're doing what? They're helping the main verb of the sentence. Okay. Chal. So let's go back and start from the first one. Let's look at the different forms. We'll quickly go through it. Okay. So the first one is to be able to, or able to, or be able to. However you want to take it, you can take it. How do you use it in the present tense? Is able to. Ram is able to. Past, Ram was able to. Had been able to. Present perfect. Sorry, past perfect. Has been able to. Present perfect. Future will be able to. Future perfect will have been able to. Okay? We have all gone through these different forms, right? Similarly, you have supposed to. Is, was, has, had, will. All those forms are there. Just go through it once. Quickly read through it. Read? I hope all of you would have read through it. Okay, chalo. Can I move on? Now this is important. Can. Okay, can past will become could. Okay. Then you had has been able to, Had been able to. Can you use can with has? Can you use can with has? No. So what will it change to? Able to. Can will become he is able to, or he has been able to. Can you say he has been can? No, can is not used like that. Okay. So instead of can, what word came there? This word came there, right? This word substituted your can. Okay, so can will not come in every form like this. Understood? I can see a lot of blank faces even now, but I think you're trying to process what you just learned. So can, not everywhere. Okay, which is the only place where you can use can? He can drink water. Present tense, right? Past, he could drink water. Okay, all the other forms, able to. Okay, he has been able to, he had been able to, he will be able to, will have been able to. All these forms are in the perfect tense. You do not have can usage in the perfect tense. Okay, okay. Then look at this word have. Okay, present will be has, right? Which form, singular or plural? Singular. He has. Okay. Okay. Past singular, had. Okay. Now look at the other ones. Present perfect. How did that become? Has, had. ഇങ്ങനത്തെ sentences കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Have you seen such sentences? Last time I was having this grammar class, I asked students, have you seen such sentences? They told me, yes sir, we thought they were printing mistakes. They're not printing mistakes, okay? They actually mean something. So what do you mean by has, had? They're saying it is present perfect. Try and understand or try and guess, what do you mean by this? Has, had. Chalo, I'll help you. Has is showing what? Is showing the present perfect tense. Okay. Had is showing that something happened in the past. That's all. Okay. Okay. Instead of has, I will try to use have. Okay. Have had. Okay. We have had many conferences in the past. We have had many conferences in the past. What am I trying to say? We have. Okay. I'm right now, which tense am I in? Present tense. Right now, what would be happening? If I am to say we have had many conferences in the past, right now, I would be in a conference. And I'm right now in the conference and I'm not moving away from this conference that we are having right now. I do not want you to go away from this. But I want you to also see similar conferences that we had in the past. So to show this, how do you say we have had many conferences in the past? What does this mean? Right now I am in a conference and I am saying this to the rest of the members in the conference. Conferences. How do you say that? Being there in the conference at that particular moment, you will use have had. Okay. Or if you are using plural, Singular, you will use has had. Okay. Okay. Now, when will you refer to something that has happened in the past? Very specific, very peculiar usage. Nowadays, you will not see this had usage very often. Okay, so you also do not go and think that I'll try this in IELTS essay and I will get extra marks. No, okay, don't be in a childish dilemma. Rather, had usage has declined in the past few years. It is not that used. Now, the reference to this will be something like okay. I'm just thinking of trying to think of a example sentence. Let's just pick one from the internet, right? I arrived home. My mother gave me dinner. Okay, that's one sentence. And then you told your mother. When did this whole action of you and your mother's conversation? When did this happen? I arrived home. So what do you know? This is in the past. Okay. I told her what? That I had had dinner in the city. What does this mean? Couldn't you simply say that like this? I told her that I had dinner in the city. He had the food. Okay. That is one had dinner in the city. Okay. That is one usage there. Then what do you see? This had is just making it into a past perfect. That's all. Please understand. Whenever you see had, have has, uh, had, all these combinations, in all of them, the first verb, the first has or have or had, the first one, that is showing you the perfect tense. It could be present perfect or past perfect. Okay, that is doing its job, usual as it is supposed to do. Okay, it's showing you the perfect tense. But the action, after this, you are going to talk about the action, right? The action also needs to use the word had. So that is where you are coming across this had or have had or have has. All these combinations. Okay. The first one is doing its job. Which job is it? Acting like a present perfect. The second job is just showing that some action had happened in the past. I used had happened, right? It will automatically, it has to come there. Okay, so to show that nowadays people just put one had here instead of writing it as two hads. Okay, that style is slowly coming up and slowly being accepted. People understand what you're trying to say, even if you just put one had here. Okay, all of you would have understood it, right? The meaning of the sentence. So that is accepted nowadays, and you do not have to worry about this particular conjugation as such. Okay, if even if you're not able to write or understand this, do not unnecessarily overdo this and lose your marks. Okay, if you're not sure on how to use this, don't use this technique. Simply put a have or had and try to be simple there. Okay. Okay, so coming back, So these are the two combinations: has had or have had, and then you have had. Okay. So can and have, then you have future, will be able to for can, and will have to for have. So let's pick up some speed now. Then you have may. What is the past form of may? Might. Okay. You have must. Past form of must? Had to. Okay. Then you have all these: has had, all these. We have looked into this. Then you also have will have had, something in the past, in the future perfect tense. So again, I'm not taking you through this because at your level, you're not supposed to know. You do not need to master this to reach a 7 as such in IELTS. Okay, you can reach 7 in IELTS even if you do not use such sentences. Okay, so I do not want to overburden you with another thing to learn. You will slowly learn it as you become familiar with English. Okay, ought to and should we have already discussed, right? Ought to is always used in the present tense. There is no past or future or any other form. The same is with should. Okay. Then we have discussed want to, simple present, wants, he wants to sing. He wanted to sing, has wanted, had wanted, all these forms are there. Similarly, you have need. Okay. Fine. So if you look at example sentences, you will see that all these auxiliary verbs, they are all these auxiliary verbs are what verbs? All auxiliary verbs are finite verbs. Aren't they showing you the tense? What were finite verbs? Is, was, huh? So if you keep saying like this, will you learn anything? So, and listen, let this activate and let this. Okay. So what are infinitives? People who have done the class, people who have been there, think for a moment and tell me finite and infinite. Infinite, did it show some? Doesn't show, huh? Katipo. Doesn't show what? Any tense. Finite shows tense. Did all these helping verbs show you tense? Past, present, future kanicho. Ellarum kanichalo. Yes. Okay. So when you say I can go, what is this go? Infinitive. What is I can? Can. Finite verb. Okay. I want to go. What is want? It's showing you what? I wanted Allah. I want. Present tense. Right? So if it is showing you the present tense, finite verb, right? So if it is a finite verb, what is the next one? To go. To undala. To go na kanda. I have told you, right? That is a trick to understand. To go is infinitive. So I want to go. What is showing you the tense? Want is showing you the tense. Okay. Okay. Similarly, you have to learn. What is have here? Have past or not? Have in the perfect present ആണ്. അല്ലേ? So what is it showing you? Tense, right? So you have to learn. What is to learn? Infinitive, right? To learn, does it show you any tense? No, it's just showing you some action. What is showing you tense? Have. We need to help. Similar, same thing happening there. We ought to drive. Same thing happening there, right? All these sentences are happening. What do you see? What do you see? Something. What do you see common here? After a modal verb, what comes? Infinitive. That is what you can observe here, right? After a modal verb or auxiliary verb or helping verb, what do you see? You will always see a infinitive. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at an exercise, and we are going to use the modal verbs can and want. Okay. Can and want. Want. Serena buys a new car. Serena can buy a new car. Okay. Serena wants to buy a new car. Next one. We want to borrow some money. The boys have cereal for breakfast. Put can here. The boys can have cereal for breakfast. The boys, what was the other one? Can and want. Okay. Sorry. The boys want to have, if it was the boy, wants to. Okay. Okay. My sister can be. Is will become what? Is which family? B family. Right. So my sister can be home by 6. Okay. Want or wants? Wants. Wants to be home by 6 p.m. They can travel to California. Mr. Gutierrez can carry, right? Yes, you said carry, right? Carry. Okay, Mr. Gutierrez can carry carry the groceries for her. Yeah, wants to carry. Okay, why did carries became carry? Right now, Mr. Gutierrez carries. Who's the finite verb right now? Who's showing you the tense? Carries is showing you the tense, right? What tense? IES. Present simple, right? Or present habitual. That's how we know it. Okay. Now, when you added Mr. Gutierrez can, what is it showing you? Can. Can is used as which tense? Present simple, right? Who is showing the tense now? Can. Who became finite verb? Can became the finite verb. Carry became what? The infinitive. Okay. It was a role reversal, if you can think of it like that. Can took the role of carry. Okay. And carry was left without any tense. It became an infinitive. Okay. Now you have to remove the auxiliary verb. So they have used the auxiliary verb. You ought to stay in bed. You stay in bed all day. I try hard. Fine. Brother, maybe. Change it into simple. Remove the auxiliary. Maybe. Remove it. What will you put? is a little late. We need to find a room for the night. The Miss Brown is able to gets out of bed today. Can I say Mr. Brown get out of bed today? That will be a command. What is this sentence? Ability of Miss Brown. Okay. So Miss Brown gets out of bed today. Ramon must remain at home today. Remains here, Ramon. So remains at home today. They have to learn to behave well. They learn to behave well. Okay, so now when you're using these auxiliary verbs, there is a degree of obligation, or there is a degree of something like pressurizing someone to do something. Okay, so there is a very polite way of asking somebody to do something, right? And there is a forceful way of asking somebody to do something. I can politely ask you and I can force you. So all these auxiliary verbs, they are showing different levels of degrees of politeness. So let's just look at it. When you say we may return the book, you have the least obligation. What do you mean by least obligation? Somewhere it is your choice, your wildest choice. Okay, we can return the book. The obligation has slightly increased. It is not so wild as it was before. We are able to return the book. The thought has changed. Rather than showing your obligation, we are now trying to show or more point out towards the ability. Okay, now can and to be able to, both are the same things, right? I can work, I am able to work. Both are used in the same sense, right? So do not think of them as different, the second and the third one. Do not think of them as something different. They are more or less the same usage or the same level of power they have. Think of it like that. Okay. Okay. Then we need to return the books. Slightly obligation has increased now, right? From can or able to. Now it has become a need. Then bigger than that is we ought to. What is it? When do you use ought to? When you need to and it is good for you also. So you ought to respect your elders. What does that mean? Both that you should or you need to respect your elders, there is a need, and it will be good for you also. I can simply say you can respect your elders, right? I can simply say you need to respect your elders, right? But to add to that emotion, I can also say you ought to respect your elders. Not just a need, but also a read. Huh? Idea. It will be good. Okay. You have to speak louder. Can't hear you. Okay. Okay. Then after ought to, what do you see? Should. Some compulsion has started to come now. Are you free? No, you're no more free. Some chains have been put around you. Some compulsions have been put around you. So that is why it became should. Then next one. You are supposed to. The compulsion has increased even further. Must. If you do not do it, there is something. Must. have to. If you do not, then and there. It is not that somewhere in the future you will be, if not in the future, then and there you will have something detrimental coming on your head. That's why you say we have to protect the environment. We have to save the environment. Right? Why? The need is so big. That's why we say we have to. Right now, if you do not act, it's gone. Another 50 years, no more human beings. That's why they say we have to take measures to protect the environment. That kind of obligation is being used now. Okay. 10 years back, we were saying, 10 or 20, 30 years back, we used to say we ought to. Today it has changed, we have to. Okay, understand it like that. Okay. Okay. Now let's. Okay. Look at the sentence. Mr. Winston drives to Arizona. Now you have to use the auxiliary verb that they have used here. Have to. Okay. Now you have to make sure that the tense that is mentioned here. Which tense is this? Present. Which one? Habitual, simple. Okay. So Mr. Weston drives is in present habitual. Try and use this word have to and keep the same tense. Mr. Weston has to drive to Arizona. Okay. Okay. The borrowed will become borrowed. I want to the tense will change, right? If you say I want to leave for Mexico, this becomes future, right? The tense in the sentence is I left for Mexico on the 10th of May. Did we change? What? Or kya parada mone? I wanted to leave for correct me paid ke I wanted to for Mexico on the 10th of May. Jerin correct ആയിരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞേ ആണോ very well. Okay, I wanted to, you have to say louder. Okay, you are more correct than most of them most of the times, just that you don't have the confidence to say it loud. So okay, I wanted to leave for Mexico. So can you just say I want to? It will change the tense to past. So I wanted to. Okay, good. Next, Miss McAdam will help you. Will be able to help you. So that is when it remains as future. Okay, good. Jolene repairs the car. Simple. Jolene ought to repair the car. Did you understand them? It is in which tense? Past tense. Right? Did you understand them? Past tense. Change it. Use can. Keeping the same tense. Past can. Could you understand them? Okay. Can you understand them will change the tense into present tense, right? So to keep the tense similar, consistent, you will say, could you understand them? See, So many nuances. What is this? We are learning nuances of grammar. Nuances are here. Colors and shades. When you go to ancient paints or Berger paints or British paints, they show you a level of shades, right? So many shades. We possibly don't even understand, okay, what is the difference? Such slight differences in a particular thing is called nuances. What is it called? Nuances. So what are you learning? The nuances of English. These slight changes are like. So what are you learning? You're learning the nuances of the English language. Okay, so that's one vocabulary word that you can all learn for yourself. Nuances. Okay. What other, in what other way can you use it? Nuance. 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 What other sentence can you make? Do you see some? First thing, you have to figure out something which has slight differences. Small differences. One is color shade, right? What other thing do you see such shades? This is called an empty mind. I showed you small differences or shades in color. Where else do you see such shades or slight differences? Para. Nobody. If you open your stupid bloody mouth, will somebody die in your house? Will you? Somebody will something cut out of your body? Then, eh? Dress, fashion. Yeah, the word you want is fashion. അത് പറഞ്ഞാലല്ലേ ഞാൻ എനിക്ക് സഹായിക്കാൻ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. ആ അപ്പൊ വാ തുറന്ന് പറ. ആ fashion. Yes, nuances of fashion. Nowadays, females depict a an unending nuance in fashion, right? Their fashion sense is unending. First thing is that. And how many shades does it have? Different shades, right? Different types of fashion, different types of clothing. And what do men have? A pair of jeans and a pant, right? They have leggings, they have capris, they have palazzos. What all do females have, right? So you can say they have a nuance. The nuances of fashion for women is possibly unending. Okay, chalo. So we learned one word here. Aaron worked on Saturday. Aaron verb past was supposed to work on Saturday. She ordered the cake today. She orders, sorry, she orders the cake today. Simple present, habitual present. She must order the cake today. Have you filed? Have you filled out the application? Huh. Have you, some of you are saying, have you been able to, and that's some of you are like, have you been able to, something is going wrong. Well, like, most of you feel that, right? Most of you are not confident. Can you just say, were you able to? Were you able to fill out the, why did it change, because of question. It's a question, right? Have I taught you how to make questions, how to work with questions? See the handicap that you have with questions. Okay, I have not taught you questions. That's why you do not know how to work with it. But all the others you are able to do, right? So have you progressed from where you were few days back? Yes, you have. You just don't realize it possibly. This question will make you realize it. Okay. Were you able to uh, fill out the application? That will be the question. Chalo. Question we do not have to learn. That's because IELTS does not worry about you learning about questions. So let's move on to the 10th. Our neighbor will paint their house. Our neighbors, sorry, want to paint their house. Take it. So auxiliary verbs is none. What did we learn? Auxiliary verbs. What do they do? What do they do? They help the main verb. Okay. If they are helping the main verb, will they also show the tense? Yes. They will take all the power. Right? If you add a auxiliary verb, what will it do? It is like a black hole. It will take all the power from all the surrounding areas. Okay, so it will become what? It will become the finite verb. Okay, and all auxiliary verbs are finite verbs. So of course, when you put an auxiliary verb, the auxiliary verb will show you the tense of the sentence, and the verb which was used earlier will become infinitive, the base form. Okay, without any tense, without any past, present, future. Okay. Okay. So that was auxiliary verbs. And auxiliary verbs, one more thing that we realize about auxiliary verbs is the degree of auxiliary verbs, which is the least polite, and which is the most compulsive. Same thing, right? Which is most compulsive and which is most free. Okay. So we discussed that as well. Did you note it down, all of you? That list, which is most compulsive and which is least compulsive. I hope all of you had noted it down. You do not have to write the full sentence, just write the order of it. May, can, able to. Just write it in the correct order. May, can, able to, need to, ought to, should. In a bracket, put could also. Sorry, sorry. Wrong. Don't put any bracket and don't put any could or anything wrong. Wrong. Should later, supposed to, and then last you have must and have to. Supposed to, must, and have to. Okay. Next to have to, just put an arrow and write greatest compulsion. Greatest compulsion. And
Have to
greatest compulsion for have to, right? Greatest compulsion. And where you started with May, least compulsion. Now tell me one more thing. If May is the least compulsive thing, then isn't it the most polite? So politeness is opposite. Okay. So most polite, least polite, like that. Okay. So can I say that auxiliary verbs is over for us? Yes. Next chapter is passive voice. Now, we'll start with passive voice. Now, what is passive voice? Passive voice because essays are written in passive voice, third person voice. So if you do not know how to write a passive voice sentence, should I even give you a 6? No, right? So passive voice structure, please learn a passive voice structure. Along with that, you will also not as a part of grammar, but while I train you for writing, I will also teach you what is an active voice, what is a passive voice, all those things. Right now, you're going to go deeper into what is a passive voice, how to construct different types of passive voice. Okay. Now, what is a passive voice? The first question. What is it? There are two voices. One is active and one is passive. In an active voice, the doer is more important. Till now, you learned it like that, right? Subject, verb, object. First, the subject came, Ram. Then the verb came, killed. And then the object came, Ravan. Okay. So who is most important in a active voice? Ram is most important. The subject is most important. In a passive voice, the action is most important, not the subject. In a passive voice, the action is most important, not the subject. In fact, most of the times the subject becomes the object and the object becomes the subject. To show you an example, a very simple example, look at this. This is an active sentence. Ram killed Ravan. You will start the sentence by the object. Ravan was killed by Ram. Now, this is the sentence that you are supposed to write in your essay, not Ram killed Ravan. This is called passive structuring. Essays need to be in this structure. Which word did I use? Need to be in this structure. So some level of obligation is there, right? When I'm saying this, some level of compulsion is there. So what change happened? The subject became the object and the object became the subject. Few words got added here. Words like by, right? This by, whenever you see a sentence with this letter by, that is a passive sentence. Whenever you see a sentence with a letter by, by, it will be a passive sentence. That is one way of understanding if a sentence is active or passive. Okay. So, look at one more example. The house was destroyed. What is the subject? The house. What is the verb? Was. And what happened? The state destroyed. Okay. Destroyed is also a verb, but it is acting more like a object here. Okay. It's called a predicate. We'll call it a predicate. Okay, that's what we'll call it. The house was destroyed. Was destroyed is the predicate here. Okay. Okay. Now, that's just a very fancy name given to it. Okay, so don't worry about it. Predicate. Okay, don't worry about it. How will you change it into a passive structure? The house was destroyed by soldiers. Okay. Now, don't you think this is also in a passive structure? The house was destroyed. Who destroyed it? Do you know who destroyed it? No. To understand that a sentence is passive, just ask yourself this question. Who did it? You won't be able to answer. Who did it? Rather, if you ask yourself what happened, you will be able to answer that. What happened here? So the attention has gone to the kriya. In passive voice, where does the attention go? To the action, the kriya. In active voice, where is the attention? On the subject, on the doer. For me now, in passive voice, the doer is no more important. For me, the kriya is important. What is the kriya? The house was destroyed. Who destroyed it? I don't care. Who destroyed it? Okay. For me, what I care is the house was destroyed. Now, if I want to add who destroyed it also, I can do that in the passive structure. How do I do it? By using this combination. By soldiers. Understood how we made a passive structure? By first emphasizing on the kriya and then emphasizing on who did it. The house was destroyed. Adya adu paraya. Adu kayinittu paraya by soldiers. First you say that what is the action and then you say who did it. If you write that format in such a format, you will always end up writing in a passive structure. That's a trick. Always first write the action and then write who did it. You will always be in the passive structure. Okay, I'll repeat this. First write the action and then write the doer. Invariably, you will be writing in a passive structure. You won't even know that you are writing in a passive structure. Okay, so look at few examples. Kim finds the dog. This is an active sentence. The dog was. Look at all the other sentences. You see something common there, right? By. Then there is one more thing that you will see commonly. That is. These things have also been added, right? I want you guys to write this, all of them. Passive sentences, all forms. The house is destroyed by the soldiers. Past, the house was destroyed by the soldiers. Just write the first sentence. The house is destroyed by the soldiers. After that, in the next line, write past. Instead of is, just write there was. Okay, so don't take too much time in writing all of this. Present perfect. The house has been destroyed. Past perfect, had been destroyed. Future will be destroyed, will have been destroyed. I hope all of you would have written it by now. So can I move on? Okay. Now, write two more forms. This is in progress forms. Instead of, so let me ask you this.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I didn't write. I think some network issue.
Take a
Hello,
screenshot.
sir. Yes, sir. Before അതിന് മുന്നത്തെ ഞാൻ കണ്ടില്ല.
Okay, okay. Take a screenshot. Copy
Okay,
it
sir.
later. Okay,
Yeah,
write it
yeah.
down later. Take a screenshot for yourself right now.
Yes.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, yeah, what I wanted to show you is this one. This is in the present, right? Change it into continuous. This is present simple, right? Habitual. Change it into in progress. The house being destroyed by the soldiers, right? That is present continuous. Okay. The house was being destroyed. Can you make it into present perfect continuous? Try. The house has. Can you do that? Has been destroying. No, no, that is wrong. Do you think there is a present perfect continuous form for this? There is no present perfect continuous. Okay. So it is either this. Yeah. The house is destroyed by the soldiers. The house is being destroyed by the soldiers. The house was being destroyed by the soldiers. Is there any present perfect? No present perfect continuous form. Okay. Only simple forms. In passive structure, what I'm trying to tell you is, in passive structures, there is no continuous forms. Write that down somewhere. In passive structures, there is no in progress form. In passive perfect, yeah, passive perfect structures. Sorry, my fault. In passive perfect structures, there is no in continuous or in progress usage. In perfect, passive perfect, there is no in progress usage. Clear? Now, let's do this exercise. Rewrite the passive sentences below as an action in progress. You have to write this. These are passive sentences, but you have to write them as action in progress in passive structure. Okay. Glenda is being kissed by Stuart. Understood? What does this mean? Right now, Glenda is being kissed by Stuart. Okay. This action is happening right now. You can see it in progress. Okay. Okay. Huh. Everywhere, what will you put? Let's, can you just quickly, can we just finish this? My eyes are being tested in the clinic. They were being arrested for a crime. Monique is being awarded a medal. The treasure is was the treasure was being buried on an island. Well, that does not make sense, but yeah, that will be the grammatical form of it. The sentence does not make sense, right? The treasure was being buried on an island. Very, very rare. Yeah, you can use it sometimes. Yeah. Don't worry. Okay. Take it as something out of place. Chal. The dog has punished again is being punished again. Was the old barn burned down? Question. Was the old barn being burned down? Okay. Question Ionda, being the placement will change. The placement of being is not the way you saw it in a sentence. Because it is a question, it changes. Have I taught you questions? No. So you will, of course, always have that doubt there. Something has gone wrong. Okay. But you don't need to worry about questions because we are not looking into that. Okay. Rewrite the passive sentence below in present perfect. We were punished by father. Present perfect. We have been, we have but if you do not put been, say, tell me your sentence. Right? You understood the error? You cannot make that sentence. We have punished by father. We have been punished by been, B-E-E-N, B-E-E-N. We have been punished by father. Okay. Okay. Passive structure mixes everything here and there. Okay. It makes an avial out of everything. So come back to this video, go through this once again. It will clarify things for you. Okay. Okay. We have been punished by father, or present perfect. This was in simple. Yeah, correct. We have been punished by father. The men are taken prisoners. Have been taken by Venda. Have been taken prisoner. The men have been taken. Mane by has moved out. Okay. Here in this sentence. Why? Why is there no by here? Who did not take out the prisoners? The men. No, the men are the prisoners. I come to this classroom, I'm a policeman, I come to this classroom and I take all these men as prisoners. Understood the difference in the sentence? The men and prisoners, they are not two different elements, they are the same thing. The men are taken prisoners. Okay, so do I need to use by? Is there any other object that is being added or subject being added? Am I trying to add the house was destroyed by the soldiers? Am I trying to add some soldiers or some element here? No, there is just one element, that is the men. That element changes from being men to becoming prisoners. The state has changed. Okay, so the subject has not changed, subject remains the same, so I do not need to use a by there. Okay, the men, present perfect will be have been taken prisoners or prisoner. She is thanked by the happy tourist. She is different, happy tourist is different, right? Okay. She has been thanked by the happy tourist. I was beaten by a robber. I have a love was had been had was right, had been beaten by a robber. The car was not washed again. The car had not been washed again. The car had not been washed again. Had and been the edikenda no not. Not came between had and been. Had not been washed again. Tony is examined by the doctor. Tony has been examined by the doctor. They are surrounded by the enemy. They have been surrounded by the enemy. Okay. Question, forget it. It'll just confuse you. She is congratulated. Yeah, we have to change it into perfect. Yeah. So she has been congratulated by her boss. See which structure we used? As. And what word did we use along with it? Been. When did we use it? When we change something in passive structure. Okay. No. A storm destroyed the cottage. Passive sentence. The cottage was destroyed by the storm. Did Columbus discover the new question? Forget the question. Okay, I'm not teaching you questions. They will buy our house. Our house will be bought by them. Or chudi on the churi. Wake up. Okay. Okay. It might become a bit fast for some. Okay. What you need to do is watch this again. Right? How many of you have seen the movie Matrix? All of you would have. Youngsters would have, right? Matrix. Kanator, please, you should see. It's a classic, good movie. You youngsters would love it. Okay, so a lot of lessons that you can learn from that movie. Okay, in that they do something again and again to learn something. So just a reference to that. Chal, have you seen Matrix? No, no. Watch it. Chal. My grandmother has baked the cakes. The cakes have been baked by my Instead of have been, do not use the perfect tense. The cakes were baked by my grandmother. So both tenses, you know, one is a simple one, were. The cakes were baked by my grandmother. And what is the perfect ones? The cakes have been baked by my grandmother. Okay. In the go through it again, it will become clear. Phil is cutting the bread. Okay. Perfect tense. The simple tense, the bread is being cut by Phil. Make it into perfect. The bread has been cut by Phil. Understood? We're talking about two forms here. Okay, one is the perfect one and one is the simple one. Sergio was selling the newspaper. That is a simple form. The newspapers were sold by Sergio. The simple form. Give me the perfect form. The newspapers has or have been sold by Sergio. Gio alla Gio. Okay. Chalo. Good. Do the eighth one. The baby. One. Future. Everything changed to future. Why are you getting confused? Will is only showing you that it is in the future. So start with the object. The baby will be kissed by, she will become her. Okay, the baby will be kissed by her. Now can you make it into perfect? The baby has been kissed by, tense has changed. It has become past. Has been kissed, past. Will be kissed, future. So can I do that now here? No. Right? So what will I do? Will have been kissed by the baby will have been kissed by her. Okay. Her brother forgot the map. The map was forgotten by her brother. The map has been forgotten by her brother. So I think passive is also done. Right? So passive voice, we learned passive voice in two forms, right? One was the simple form, right? The house was destroyed by the soldiers. That is a simple passive. The house was destroyed by the soldiers. Simple. Perfect. The house has been destroyed by the soldiers. Clear? Okay. The house, continuous, present, is being destroyed by the soldiers. Continuous past, the house was being destroyed by the soldiers. Clear? Four forms, 5 forms, right? All of them you are clear with, right? These are all passive voice. Okay. Should I stop? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I also think I should stop because the next topic, you know what is the subjunctive mood? The next topic is quite complicated. Many of you will lose your brains when I start with this. Okay, there is a different form of English when you demand, request, or advise something. Specifically when you demand something, when you advise something, or what was the third one? Demand, suggest. Okay. When you do any one of these three things, you are supposed to change the verb forms. Okay. Was will become were. Everything becomes plural. Okay. Look at this sentence. This one. Just to show you a hint of subjunctive mood. Okay. When you are demanding somebody to do something, will you use the simple present? No, you will not use the simple present. There is a difference there when you demand something. Now look at this sentence. I suggested he come by for a visit, not comes by for a visit. The simple form, we have learned that it should be comes, right? C-O-M-E-S. That S should come there, right? But did we put it there here? No. Why? We are demanding something. Whenever you see something like this, you need to understand that in written form, this is a demand by somebody. Okay. It is not a sentence. It is not an action that is happening, but rather something that you demand, which again is an action in a very big picture, but we have to look at it in a different sense. Okay, so this is called the subjunctive mood. Similarly, when you advise something, she demanded you be on time. You're advising something, right? She demanded you are on time. You will say you be on time. So this is called the subjunctive mood. Okay. Whenever you demand, suggest, or request something or advise something, you use this subjunctive mode. So when you're writing letters and in your letters, the letter is asking you to request or suggest something. Shouldn't you know subjunctive mood then? Shouldn't you write like this? But how many, all of you will write, I suggest he comes for a visit. So people who are doing general, who are writing letters, be very thorough with the subjunctive mood. People who are doing academic, okay, I didn't say anything, right? So you can understand. Okay, so now I would be taking this, I'll be starting with this, but the problem is if I start with this, it will take my whole day. Now, let's see what's after that. Yeah, we will not start with subjunctive mood tomorrow. We will not start with subjunctive mood tomorrow. We will continue with adverbs. After all these parts of speech are over, I will take subjunctive mood separate. Okay, let this flow not break, because it will break the flow of your learning right now. So I'm not going to take subjunctive mood tomorrow. I would rather take adverbs tomorrow. Okay, then adjective, the rest of the parts of speech. Let's finish them and let's consider subjunctive mood in the last. Let's keep it as an exception in the end. Okay, understood? So let's close for today. We'll meet tomorrow, same time. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow will be an off. So take your time to go through all these few days of classes. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Wi-Fi the password Geetu ille mana. Geetu knows English. She knows. Uh,